Because Nas wrote, "I never sleep, because sleep is the cousin of death." And we believed it. There was never any night we couldn't stretch like a rubber band across Livingston, or High Street, or the Olentangy, or wherever we found our bones stacked atop the grass until it snapped back, and we spent whole days trying to avoid the sky and how it never covers its mouth, how the sun coughs over everything. Patron saint of morning after blindness, of tomorrow and another tomorrow to come, reminder that we are forgiven for whatever happened while you were away. I've checked, and it turns out there is no time zone where it is midnight in summer in Columbus all of the time. So I suppose we'll have to make do until the fireflies are pulled from the jaws of hollow trees in a city that will not always be mine the way I thought it was when invincibility was the newest dance move, before Britney's cancer cut out the lights, stopped the music, told us it was last call, and 6 of my friends forced our limbs into a 2-door car in all black to drive to the funeral, and Tyler told the story about how we all snuck Thanksgiving leftovers into the Drexel Theater that last November and got kicked out once someone spilled a whole bowl of gravy down the center aisle until this river reached the feet of a couple on a date in front of us. And even though we knew this story the way you know a lover's body, we still popped the cork on our laughter in the back seat and let it overflow, not sleeping for 10 whole days after. I am sure there will be a record of my coming and going whenever a boy puts on headphones in an elevator to avoid conversations, or when he climbs through a dirty window to sneak out of his parents' house to watch the trains, or when he brings his hands teeming with roses to the first girl who reminds him of his mother, and this is also good enough. I hear that religion is anywhere you run into and feel safe. And I have made altars out of every corner of Ohio, every guitar that has drowned out an otherwise profound sorrow, every bar that will keep me from an empty home for just one more hour, and those willing to make a home less empty. Before you know it, it'll be autumn again, and every memory you have, even this one, will be another dying thing that falls from the trees. But in the meantime, let me show you how good I've gotten at making a skyline part its lips, lean down, and take me in its mouth. I'm getting smaller with each year, and will get smaller with each plot of land between me and this church I have raised with my own 2 hands, but I will be a satisfying meal for the big city. Let me show you how I've stolen these petals of moonlight for you, how it might allow you to remember me or keep the leaves alive a bit longer, or at least give you something to stumble into after you have buried someone you once loved and regret crawls into your skin like a fever only the perfect night can sweat out. Let me show you how I learned to extend darkness, how I turned an entire town into a snooze button, and how no one I loved has died since. Let me show you how I tried to invent a cure for sadness and failed like 2,000 times, so now I write poems instead. Let me show you this time machine. I found it in a record store. It wants us to give in and dance like our parents when they were our age, and we were no younger than a tickle on their skin, because who else are we becoming after all? Let me show you how we're all going to survive all of the things that were promised to lay waste to us. How we get to keep our blood to ourselves for at least one more year. You may not know this. There are ways to turn our faces to this sharp country and cut ourselves open in front of the people we want to invite in. I stopped missing home when I made a welcome mat of my chest. I do not want to die in a place where I am not loved, and I hope you all can give that to me. Even when my name no longer swings through the air like a child's curious feet teetering on the edge of a father's shoulders. Even when I have shaken myself into the current and been carried by another body of water to another place that is not as comfortable as I have made this one. Even when the nights are shorter and I roll over in a bed awaiting the promised blindness, while everyone I love still hangs by a jukebox in Columbus, trying to remember the song that we would throw into the air when there were no more quarters for the pool table, and no more free Diet Cokes for the designated driver, no bartender who hasn't dismissed all our best attempts at flirting, and even then, I will be miles away from every soul here. This heart, a flickering no vacancy sign, fading, fading, gone.